is springing, the flowers are out, everything is beautiful and colorful, and it's time to talk about German colors. Today I'm going to tell you 16 German words for colors, and stick around to the end because I'm going to be telling you how to use those effectively within context. So, yeah, without further ado, let's go! We'll start with the primary colors. Number 1 is red, rot. Short and sweet, right? This is cool! Hallo, Löchen! Number 2 is blue, blau.
A butterfly. Whoa, lots of butterflies. Hi!
Number 3 is grün, green, grün. This is beautiful. A frog, how cute! All right, buddy, staring contest. Number 4 is yellow, gelb. Yoo-hoo! What are we doing? How do I get off? Number 5 is black, schwarz. Yeah, let's go. Number 6 is white, weiß. Number 7 is orange, orange. Number 8 is lila. Purple. Number 9 is brown, brown.
I hit the jackpot.
Number 10 is gray, grau. Woohoo! I'm flying. Number 11 is pink, rosa. Number 12 is beige, beige. Is this boring beige? Yeah. What a surprise, right? Number 12 is turquoise, turquoise. Why am I swimming in a pair of jeans, Crocs, and a blouse? I really couldn't answer that for you. And now we get into metallics with number 14 being gold, gold. Number 15 is silver, silver. And number 16 is bronze, bronze. Gold! Silver! Bronze! So now you have all these colors, which is great, but how do you use them? First of all, they can be used as a noun or an adjective, just like English. But in German, you need to keep in mind that if you want to use it as a noun, it needs to be capitalized. If you want to use it as an adjective, it's lowercase. Now, the second thing I want to tell you is how do you say things like light brown, light green, dark brown, dark green? That's important, right? So there are two words you can use for this. There's the word for dark, which is dunkel, and the second one, which is a little ironic when you think of the English meaning, is light, which is hell. So dark, dunkel, light, hell. So let's say you want to say light blue. You would combine the hell, the light, with the word blau, and you would combine that into one word, and that would be hellblau, light blue. So it doesn't remain two separate words like in English. It just gets sucked together. Same thing with dark, dunkel. You say dunkelblau, dark blue. Just combine them together. And you can do that with any color you want. You could say dunkelrot, hellrot, dunkelgrün, hellgrün. So it's a handy little tool there. So now you're probably asking yourself, where in the sentence does it go? Well, you can use it in two ways. It's very similar to English, but you just have to execute it correctly. So you could put the color before the noun, just describing it. But one thing you have to be careful of when you do that is you have to use the correct ending. Adjectives before nouns in German take very specific endings, and it depends on whether there's a der or ein in front of it, whether it's a direct object, indirect object, something like that within the sentence, whether this noun is the direct object or the indirect object, something like that. It also depends on, there's so many things. It also depends on the gender of the noun. So just once you get your adjective endings down, which if I did a video about that already, I'll link it, and if I didn't, I really should, right? So I'll link it for you if I have. And just, learn your adjective endings and then apply that to the color before the noun. So let's say you want to say red chair. So you could say roter Stuhl. If you wanted to say the red chair, you could say der rote Stuhl. And if you wanted to make that this is all subject. If it's the subject, these are the endings. So if it was like the direct object, you could say den roten Stuhl or roten Stuhl or einen roten Stuhl. There's so many possibilities, right? Yeah, Stuhl is masculine, so those are the masculine endings. But there's feminine endings, there's neuter endings. Pick your poison, just depending on the noun. So you could put it after the noun with kind of an is, right? Like in English, you can say, let's go with the chair again. The chair is red. Der Stuhl ist rot. So it's basically the same, and when you do that, you don't have to have an ending on the color, which is really nice. You just slap the color on the end there. Works great. In English, when you want to say something like, when you want to say, oh, it's red colored, you don't necessarily want to say red, you just red colored. There's a word for that in German, and that's farbig. And again, In German, words get combined a lot, and this is another case. So if you want to use farbig with a color, you basically just need to tack that farbig onto the end of the color, and it becomes one word. And then you can do the same as we talked about before. You could put it before the noun, but with an appropriate ending, or you could put it after. So you could say, der rotfarbige Stuhl, or rotfarbiger Stuhl, or der Stuhl ist rotfarbig. Something like that. And one handy thing to keep in mind if you're just using it as a noun, read the noun, you're capitalizing it, all colors are neuter. So it would be das Rot, das Blau, das Gelb. So that helps you at least memorize the genders of those words, which we all know is a challenge. And then last of all, sometimes you like to say things are multicolored, right? So when you do that, generally you are going to put a little Bindestrich, a little dash in between. So if you wanted to say it's like red and white, you could say rot und weiß. You could say that. Der Stuhl ist rot und weiß. Or you could put the Bindestrich in between, the dash. You could say rot-weiß, rot-weiß. So it sounds the same, kind of like a word, but there's just a dash when you write it. And when you do that, if you're going to go with an ending, so if you're going to put it before the noun where it needs an ending, you are going to only put the ending on the last word. So even if you had like 4 colors connected by the Bindestrich, rot, weiß, grün, gelb, you would only put the ending on the end, like der rot-weiß-grün-gelbe Stuhl. Rot-weiß-grün-gelber Stuhl. Something like that. So I think those are all of the main use cases, but I have a challenge for those of you who made it to the end. We are going to tell each other our favorite color in the comments below, okay? Now the way you say favorite color. So you could ask someone, what is your favorite color? And that would be, was ist deine Lieblingsfarbe? Was ist deine Lieblingsfarbe? And that's a very informal one, only with friends, family members, in informal situations. If you want to be formal, you could say, was ist Ihre Lieblingsfarbe? Was ist Ihre Lieblingsfarbe? And then the answer is, meine Lieblingsfarbe ist. Meine Lieblingsfarbe ist. So I want you to go in the comments, I want you to write a complete sentence saying, my favorite color is, meine Lieblingsfarbe ist, and then put your favorite color from the list that came before. Meine Lieblingsfarbe ist rot. Yes. And maybe I'll make another video about this, but the word Lieblings in and of itself is so interesting because it means favorite. But you always have to tack it on to whatever the favorite thing is, Lieblingsstuhl, favorite chair, Lieblingskatze, favorite cat. Maybe I'll make a video about that. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for sticking around. And if you can think of any other use cases I didn't cover that you're wondering about with colors and grammar, let me know below. Or maybe there's a color that I didn't mention. There's so many of them out there. And I'll see you in the next video. Tschüss!